What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show as we're getting everyone signed on, going live on Wimkin. Officially live on Wimkin. Good to see everybody here. We're going to get everybody going. And welcome to Twitter, welcome to Rumble, Wimkin, YouTube, Facebook. Facebook and I have got some issues. Got some good news, got some bad news. Yeah, bad news. We'll go over it in a few minutes. Hurricane people, be safe. I don't expect a huge show tonight. A lot of people are worried, and they should be. So hopefully they're in a hotel room, safe, out of harm's way, or locked down tight and ready to go. We're praying for everybody in Georgia, Florida, and surrounding areas. Stay locked tight. I think we are green lit on all stations. Looks like Twitter's running a little slow, but everything else is 5x5. Let's get her going. Get this shared out. Get those numbers up. We got a lot to cover. Like I said, get some bad news on a personal front. We'll go into it. We'll share it with you. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. Missiles coming from New Mexico, 6 of them. Designed surface-to-air missiles to hit Trump's jet. Is it true? We'll talk about it. I'll be back. 3 minutes.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The Dumb Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The Dumb Show on social media or thedumbshow.com.
What's going on, everybody? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are back in stock. It's a 3-book collection, leather-bound, by Arcadia Publishing. Starts out with the Bill of Rights, and it's the complete edition of the rights, so you can look up and reference anything your heart desires. Declaration of Independence, with revisions and founder images included, beautifully illustrated. And last but not least, what would Documents of Freedom be without the Constitution of the United States of America in its entirety. The box is handmade by PFC Flags, custom engraving, all 100% made in the USA from the nails to the glue. And we have a 5-star rating, satisfaction guaranteed, 150 sold, 5 stars or better. It is so important, especially in today's society, to ensure that the younger generation has these books available in the future. Get them for your family and friends, available right now. Head on over to thedumshow.com/books. Thanks so much.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Got a notification from Twitter that we were live. Twitter is, it's amazing. One door closes and another one opens. Facebook has been really, really bad to us. I mean, horrible to us. And Twitter was doing the same thing. When Elon Musk came back, we wound up getting, I think we had 97 followers for over 2 years. So it would go up to 99 and then shoot down to 91. Go up to 99, shoot down to 91. For 2 years, this happened. I'm not kidding. People who watch the show remember this. And once Dorsey was out and Musk came in, we went to, I think, 5,400 people, which is pretty good for, a place I never was. And we just taken off. And Twitter is like, monetization was ready to turn on. And then we dropped 200 followers. And then we were for the last year, 8 months, 5,190. And it would get up to 1,199 and go back down. And people saw me do this. I would show it to them and they're just like, how is this possible? Well, we finally broke that after 9 months. And now we're up in the 5,223, 24, which, is still slower than dog crap. But at least they're telling people my shows are live. And we've got quite a few people on Twitter right now. So that makes me feel good. So welcome to my Twitter peeps. Welcome to my Wimkin people, Facebook people, Rumble people, and YouTube people. I want to start off with the bad news. And well, first of all, everyone else especially with this hurricane, is going through some crazy crap right now. So I always want to give my absolute thoughts and prayers to those people who have been tracking the hurricane, watching what's going on. And obviously, we're thinking about you. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are going through hard stuff right now. We know this, and this is a reality that we're all facing and we're all dealing with. So that's number two, is that we all have hardships. Number three, not in any particular order, you can see right here down on the screen, right there, we have added Venmo. I've received so many requests for Venmo. Folks, I don't understand why we have so many requests for Venmo, considering that, I don't know if you know this, but it's PayPal. It's the same API. It's the same company. Venmo is PayPal, and PayPal owns it. So, but that's fine. We've added Venmo because people were asking all the time, hey, how do I contribute? How do I contribute? And I'm like, do you have Venmo? I'm like, no, we have PayPal. I don't like PayPal. Okay, well, now we have Venmo. So let me show you how this works, just so you understand. If you go to your website on your phone and go to your browser, and you just want to type in linktapgo/thedumshow. That'll come up and you'll see it's simpler now. There's just a green button right here. It says donate to the show. No more tip, no more donate to PayPal. It's just donate to show. Click it. Do this on your phone, do it on your browser, and you get a little welcome page. Please support the DUM Show. You can go right to PayPal. You can see our P.O. box, or go right to Venmo. And you get a little story about how we love you and we appreciate you. So now you just click here, And it also has our tag. So if you just want it, at the Dumb Show is where we're at in Venmo, and at Don't Unfriend Me on PayPal. There it is. Pretty simple. Okay, great. Now that we know how to do that. So now for the bad news. Yeah, upgraded to Cat 4. We knew that was going to happen. Let's hope it doesn't go to Cat 5. It's 24 miles an hour. Yeah, it's going to be in and out of there pretty quick. That's a good sign. That means there's enough energy. That sucker is gonna dump a lot of rain, and then it's gonna be out of pocket. So that's good. So cross our fingers, okay? Can we donate on Wimkin? Okay, guys. Seriously, I just added Venmo. Let Bobby let that sink in for a while, please, before I have to go spend another hour, redoing the site. Straight from Wimkin, no. I can talk to. We're going to have an app that we're still working on, waiting for approval with Apple. It's on Android. It's the Dumb Show. But we'll have a link where you can go straight from Wimkin anywhere and donate. So we're going to have that. Okay. Okay. So bad news. I'm going to rip off the Band-Aid. About a year and 3 months ago, Olivia had an opportunity to get one of the best jobs that she has wanted since she was a little girl, and she wanted to be a teacher. And she was hired on in a Montessori school, and she became an assistant to the lead teachers. And she worked her way up, and she did. Glenn, it's 3,101, just FYI. It's your $80 off. And she worked her way up. And she was just recently promoted about 3 months ago to lead, which is she has her own classroom. She has her own kids. And she was just flying. They were paying for her college to get her degree and to get her training, and everything was on the way up. Doing fairly well from a monetary standpoint, which really filled in the gap for us. She received a phone call last night at 8 o'clock that said that the cleaning crew came in and the doors were locked and they couldn't get in. And her boss notified her and said, here's the situation. The landlord has locked us out because the corporate office hasn't paid for 90 to 120 days on back rent. And it's my understanding that this rent is fairly high, $15,000 to $20,000 a month. So that puts them anywhere from $75,000 to $100,000 in arrears. The chances of them opening back up, I did real estate and retail for a long time, and my responsibility was to go around and find locations to put our stores, whether it be Comcast or Game Crazy. It was something that I was responsible for. And the one thing I know is when the landlord locks the doors, you're pretty much done. And you're going to have to not only pay the back rent that you owe, you're going to have to pay a year in advance after they lock. And that's just standard. And I know this company, although very large and very prominent, probably considered this a loss. And they kind of did my wife dirty, not going to lie. Yeah, so she's out of a job. Now, there is a possibility that they open the doors. But right now, we're all bracing for the fact that, she lost her dream job. So she was going to be on tonight, but she's a wreck. She's been a mess. And I don't know. I immediately, she was supposed to go to Sterling and drive there to help out another school. And I said, no, you're not. You're staying home. You've literally had bronchitis. You're horribly sick. You're staying home, and I'm not going to take another word about it. If you walk out that door, I'm going to pull your keys, and you have to sit on her because you guys think she's this Miss Softy princess, and I control my wife. You have no idea what it's like at my house. Maybe during the show, when we're getting prepped, I'm kind of head alpha, but in this house, I have my tails between my legs, so I had to sit on her. And she got her medicine, and she feels much better. And she's at the school library with Ethan right now, and that's good because she's just taking some mom and kid time, and she's going to chill But it's been pretty rough. So if you know Liv, you know how kind she is, how loving she is. Just send her a message, reach out to her. But this is tough. We finally started getting back on our feet, and everything's going great. And this is what happens. And it is what it is. I mean, we will overcome, and we will fight through it, and we'll go from there. So that's where we're at. But once again, she should be on tomorrow, hopefully. And if she's not, we're just going to give her some time until she feels better, because she's a wreck right now, and she has every right to be. I mean, not only worried about finances and all this other stuff, but she's got to worry about the kids that she was seeing. She doesn't get to say goodbye to them, and just dirty. This company should have a contingency plan to for severance and stuff like that. So none of that's been established. So needless to say, it's a little crazy, and she's not feeling too hot. So there it is. Wanted to give you guys that. I always take care of my wife. No, you don't have to tell me. She's my everything. So I will take care of her, as I always do. But yeah, it's tough right now. It always is tough right now. So she is going to be putting in donations tonight and stuff like that, so she can see that. So if you have a message, you can just email her at Olivia at the DUM Show, and I'll give you that real quick. Olivia at thedumshow.com. And you can email her, and she'll get that if you want to send her a quick message or something. And I know y'all are pretty fucking awesome. So there it is. Anyway, wanted to tell you about that. Coffee. We have the Don't Unfriend Me coffee brand. It's over at thedumshow.com. We've sold 26 bags since I started talking about it last week, which is great. People are just like buying the coffee left and right. And I just forgot to talk about it. That's all. This stuff is amazing. We've been selling it now for, I think, 2 years. It's got 5-star rating. It's made by a veteran in Wisconsin, fresh roasted. You open it up. It's literally roasted like 3 days before you get it. It's the freshest coffee you'll taste. All the bags that he has, he goes on a quarterly basis, buys them from Sumatra, Somalia, Hawaii, Guatemala, a couple of Arabic coffee producers overseas in the Middle East. And he brings these together, and he makes amazing brands. And the 5 brands that we have are the Napalm in the Morning, the Moab, which is the mother of all brews. We've got the Kami, which is decaf. We have the FJB, F. Joe Biden, which is a caramel undertone with honey. It's an amazing, amazing roast. And I hate that flavor shit, but it's good stuff. And then we've got Tomahawk. So I kind of tied them all in between missiles and bombs, and the FJB obviously he's a bomb in the shorts. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's get into what we're going to talk about tonight. We got a lot to do, and the first thing I wanted to talk about is that there is a rumor that Matt went straight to Venmo, not through Link Tap Go, but I sent Matt. I went straight to Venmo, not through Link Tap Go. Oh yeah, you can go to Venmo. That's fine. If you know how to get there, then just absolutely get there. That's fine too. No problem. I haven't received an email yet. Hold on. Yeah, I haven't received an email. I'm looking. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'll have to forward things to Liv because we didn't set it up to forward from this email address. So let me, Olivia, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, Olivia at thedumshow.com. Okay, so let me just forward these. Sorry, gotta do this real quick. Just be a second. Olivia. Oh my God, I'm blind as a bat. Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay, so those have been forwarded. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so she's going to put that. No, you're not stopping the show. It's these are weird circumstances. We got a hurricane coming on. We got Olivia with a job. Listen, people, my goal is to get her to feel appreciated and loved by everybody, and that's more important than anything. And the donations are awesome, of course. I mean, it totally, absolutely is so appreciated. And I also thank you. She's going to put them all up. So that's going to make her cry again. So my job right now is just to protect her. So sending an email telling her we appreciate you, that's going to make her night as well. All right. So when she gets home, she's going to start putting those in, and you guys will see those click off. Okay. So on Twitter, there was a string of emails that came across at like 17:30, 5:30. And there was flash traffic that supposedly came across the wire, which I didn't see it. And if I did, it would be red and it would gain my attention. I didn't see anything. Any connections and intelligence connections that I have, nothing. Hold on one second. All right. Sorry, Olivia just got home, and I wanted her to go on her email. So flash traffic came across that through. First of all, when I say flash traffic, I have access to the Wire and the AP and essentially unsubstantiated reporting. It's how newsrooms get their information. And they'll receive, some code it by Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, some code it by red, yellow, green, whatever. But the way that I'm used to it is seeing red, yellow, green. And green essentially means confirmed, multiple eyewitnesses, and, multiple sources. Yellow means it's fairly probable and single source has been confirmed. And red means no sources. These are initial reports and, fog of war is in full effect. And this could be something like invasion of Ukraine. Perfect example. Reports of rocket fire and explosions in cities outside of Kiev in Ukraine, and blah, blah, blah. And then you get, 12, 13 specific cities were hit, ammunition depots, infrastructure, bridges, roadways. We have multiple confirmed reports. Ukrainian military is on complete high alert, blah, blah, blah. And then, something green would be like, Ukrainian president has booked, 12 minutes of airtime on all major channels in Europe for, 8 o'clock tonight. And Vladimir Putin has, declared war, whatever. And that's the way news comes through. And then it's disseminated, and people start making phone calls and getting expert witnesses and booking people to talk about it. And then, start collecting intelligence on what's proposed once it's confirmed, and then start piecing everything together and write news articles and newscasts. And this is what you see, what I do every day. When I get a piece of news, I collect it over several different sites. A lot of the work has already been done by other agencies, and that's fine. But I go ahead and always try to add my take on it and my opinion and give you information that you don't have. So that's what I thank you so much, Iva Lee. Iva Lee, you're amazing. Thank you, ma'am. So there was a report, like I said, that came across. It was on Twitter. And then it was not on any news stations, but it was social media primarily, that 6 surface-to-air missiles were tracked coming up through New Mexico that were essentially to be used for targeting Donald Trump's plane. Now, this thing made its way through Twitter very quickly and started showing up on alt-right sites. And it didn't make it to Breitbart or Blaze or anything like that, but it started making up an Independent War Room and whatever, and all these, smaller type sites. I will let you know after speaking to several sources that I trust implicitly that this is complete and utter bullshit. And let me tell you why. First of all, man-portable surface-to-air missiles are not going to take down a passenger liner unless these are incredibly high-quality Stinger-based missiles or secondary type systems that are designed by Chinese, Russian, and a couple of other countries. Turkey now makes a fairly decent man-portable surface-to-air missile, but they are very well kept care of and tracked, is what I can say. The size of bringing 6 of these missiles over would be ridiculous. And what I mean by size is the risk and the absolute nonsense of it all. These on the open market go for a pretty penny, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars per. It's very expensive. And especially if they're black market, you could be talking $1.5 million for each one of these things. I mean, this isn't going down and buying a 22, folks. Any type of cartel or arms smugglers are not going to risk crawling something over New Mexico. It would be in a more highly populated, densely populated area, because the best place to hide is in plain sight. Second, if you want to take down Trump's jet, and I don't, and I want to make that clear to the NSA agents who just came on. Hi, guys. Nice to see you. Take a look at my background, and then you guys can find another show to harass. Is that there are plenty of other ways to do what they're trying to accomplish a hell of a lot cheaper and a hell of a lot easier. And I'm not even going to remotely go into any detail, but targeting a civilian aircraft with, let's just say, a Stinger type or, shoulder mounted surface to air missile is not very realistic. And there's a few reasons why. You're not going to get. I'm trying to be very careful with what I say.
Mom said there's no donations, and Amy Stanco wanted to give a shout out to BK Boom.
Yeah, there are donations. There's tell her there is a metric shit ton of them. Tell your mom to come here, please. Okay. I'm sorry to be vague. I'm trying to be as descriptive as I can without. It's kind of like the newscasters that are like 9/11. They took down 2 towers. Why didn't they just go to the reservoirs of all the major cities and poison them with Nox 15-4, which is openly available, and here's the recipe. And you're like, dude, shut the fuck up, right? So I'm not trying not to do that. What I'm saying is that those weapon systems have targeting systems, and there are a metric shit ton. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm in the middle of the show. And what's going on?
I'm getting messages.
Can you come here real quick? Yeah. Okay, folks, I need a timeout. Liv.
People are just saying sorry because you really said something. So people are just.
I know they are. What?
Amy Sam called wanted you to shout out.
Honey, you're very emotional right now, and I love you, and you need to just go relax. And if you don't want to put these in, I'll take care of it.
I can't. That's what I'm saying. I haven't received any. I keep refreshing, but nothing's coming up.
Okay, so there's we can't get behind though, because there's 12.
I don't know.
So as soon as you could just take a look at your email and see what you can find out, look at Olivia.thedumb.show. I sent 2 to myself to Olivia at the Dumb Show.
Okay, I gotta get into a little bit.
Real simple. Just go on your computer and hit add through Microsoft Exchange and use the password and Olivia.thedumb.show. Go to account, add email. Okay. All right. Or come on. Hey, sweets. Or come on over here and sit down and do it real quick and see what you can see. Okay. All right, pumpkin. All right. Sorry, folks. She's having a bad night. I'm trying to, Thomas, I don't need advice on my wife. Thanks. Yeah, don't cross that line. I don't need your advice. Thank you. I'm trying to be respectful, but you don't need to tell me how to interact with her. I've been taking care of her for 25 years. I'm pretty fucking good at it. So thank you, sir. So anyway, so when you use a, sorry, dude, I don't like that. That crosses a line, right? I mean, care, show emotion, reach out. Don't tell me how to treat my wife. Yeah, I'm very much aware how to provide solace for her. We've been through a lot of different things. Is that cool? Is that respectful? You and me? We good? I don't know. I don't know. See, I don't know because she's not here, but it says, oh, sorry, Thomas. Fuck. See, I'm so fucked up. Scratch everything I just said. I apologize. You were saying sometimes it's best not to say anything in regards to the weapon systems. See, dude, I am so fucked up today. I shouldn't even come on. I apologize. My sincerest apology, man to man. Completely, I overstepped. I screwed up. I read your comment. It was behind, and it was right when I was talking to Olivia, and it sounded like you were telling me, hey, man, sometimes it's best not to say anything. I'm so sorry. I apologize. See? I'm so sorry. My fault, Thomas. You're a good buddy of mine. You know I love you. I know. Everyone's coming in. Okay, all right. Sorry. Dude, I get a little sensitive with that. You guys know that. I don't like that. It's like there's that line, you know? So I just thought you were crossing it. You weren't, and I totally misread the situation because I feel bad. Like all I want to do is just give her a hug and tell her how much I love her because she's in tears over your guys' messages. She's just freaking bawling because she loves you guys and it means the world to her. So it's good tears. She feels loved. So apologize. BK bought Amy coffee. Amy wanted me to say that. There we go. All right. So quickly, let's get through this. Jeez Louise. If you're going to use a man-portable system, which is a non-fixed surface-to-air missile, and you can look at like a Hong SS, you can look at an SA-6 or SA-3 missile system, whatever it may be. Most missile systems are going to be either fixed or they're going to be vehicle-driven. And then you have man-portable, which are shoulder-mounted style surface-to-air missiles. And you have a couple other variations that are that people have done things with that ultimately it doesn't matter. But the range on a surface-to-air missile from a shoulder-mounted system have limited range and limited radar capabilities. There are a lot easier ways to do that. And a couple things would be like sabotage. You could use a standard weapon system that you can pick up at any gun store. There's other ways to do it. So I want to let you know that surface-to-air missiles, shoulder-mounted surface-to-air missiles, have been absolutely, like, literally a focus of every CIA annex for the last 30 years. And the cash that they have to buy black market weaponry, and CIA does it all the time and repurposes U.S.-made and foreign-made weapon systems, this has been a focus for 30 years. And when you were seeing airlines being taken over and things to that effect, this became like the next hot button. And in between airlines being taken over and 9/11, the big thing was to ensure that no surface-to-air missiles were being spread around the terrorist community and on the black market. So, Keong, yes, they are, but they also have a passive system when you use a shoulder mount system, which puts off transponder signals. So if you are anywhere next to a military base, or you're going to be in an area where you have some sort of military presence with radar functionality, and most airports, thank you, John Stillwell, most airports are going to qualify for this, do not have it at the civilian side, but National Guards bases are usually attached at airports for a reason. And since 9/11, most major airports have a National Guard division where they can scramble 15s or 16s, and they are using passive radar too. So if you got some man-portable system that fires off and starts squawking, whether that thing is using IR or whether that thing is using a a simpler radar system based upon a fixed SA, you're still going to get signature off that thing. So my point is, there is a hell of a lot easier ways to do it than to spend 1.5 million on the black market for a shoulder-mounted surface-to-air missile. Okay, you're also talking about range too. So if you have something that's outside its envelope, it's completely useless. So you're going to have to be fairly close. So this is immediately, when you hear this, it's like, okay, let's downgrade it because we know it's probably not true. So once I established that it wasn't true, started looking into other sources of what I heard. And we heard that several RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades, which are extremely low range, they're very good for stationary objects. They are not good for moving objects. If a helo is in hover, they are fantastic for range degradation on target, which would be to create as much shrapnel to damage hydraulics, rotary, fixed aircraft, avionics, whatever it would be, to bring that bird down. And they are successful. However, they're limited range. They're not very accurate when it's on a moving target, and is no threat whatsoever to Donald Trump's aircraft. There were rumors that there were anti-personnel mines and IEDs and stuff like this. At this time, my understanding and everything I've heard is that this is 100% inaccurate and not true. Thank you so much, Kim. You are the best. We appreciate y'all. So that is my understanding, is that this story is a fabrication. That's what I know about it. So if that changes, I'll tell you. Now, does that mean, and this is usually what happens, all of a sudden you hear Department of Justice talk about Iran and they're trying to hit Trump, and that you're going to start hearing a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to hear stories about hired assassins. You're going to hear about large money changing hands from BlackRock because the two commercials. You're going to hear that some assassins were found south of the border and they had ties to Al Qaeda or ISIS or Hamas, and you're going to hear a lot of stuff. Some of it's going to be true. Some of it's not going to be true. Some of it's going to be released. Some of it isn't going to be released. But I promise you this, if they caught two guys crossing the border with Stingers or surface-to-air missiles, this would be all over the place. And if the story is true, it means they caught them. So I would relax. Handheld surface-to-air, I mean, do they really able to go the distance? Yeah, I mean, you'll see it all the time. I mean, have you ever watched any of the Ukraine, the choppers coming through, Russian choppers that are going through? And some of the Sikorsky base and, whatever the Hind choppers they're having in Ukraine, is you'll see them coming in and you'll see these rockets coming from the ground. Some of those are surface to air missile batteries, but a lot of those they're man portables. They're shoulder mounted surface to air missiles. And these are passive systems in the sense, like Kyung said, is heat signature style missiles, and they use infrared, and that's why you'll see a lot of these choppers have chaff and anti-electronic countermeasures, which is throwing off signal flares or foil packs or whatever to take the target and have it reacquire. A lot of foil packs are used for radar-based system. It confuses the profile. It loses the overall integrity and size of the vehicle it's going after, and will go after the foil pack. You have flares on heat signature-based missiles, which the phosphorus will actually burn hotter than the turbines and the exhaust of that chopper, and those infrareds will go after those flares instead. And you'll see them pop, off the side of the vehicles. Amazing stuff. Surprisingly enough, Air Force One has very serious countermeasures. I mean, ridiculous. I'll just say from a maneuver. Now, I've had a chance to be on Air Force One, and I know the head of security who just retired, one of my good friends. His name is Ty, and then Matt. Both are head of security for the Air Force, United States Air Force, for Air Force One. They also oversee Marine One with the United States Marine Corps and the aviation squadrons that are assigned to that. I've got to meet pilots from Air Force One, and I got to do a fairly in-depth tour of Air Force One. I was not able to go up in the air, unfortunately. That was something I wanted to do. Thank you, Angela, so much. You're the best. You are the best. But I got to see some of its countermeasures and its capabilities, and it's incredible. It's absolutely, and I'm certainly not going to go into all of those things, but I will tell you that it has a quick reaction if pilot is in a threat and it has not been recognized and pilot has not taken control of the stick, that the plane has automatic countermeasures to do things that you can't even fathom to avoid incoming projectiles. From its AEM is incredible. It has the ability to foil just about any type of. Thank you so much, Mel. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Mel. God bless you. Thank you so much, y'all. You guys mean this is just trash and Olivia. I guarantee she's in tears. So the whole thing I'm trying to say is that Donald Trump is protected, and Trump's plane, surprisingly enough, has been retrofitted with some of these countermeasures. I'm just letting you know. And do I have any fact on that? No, not one. But a former president of the United States is not going to fly as much as he flies and not have that plane retrofitted with some sort of AEM capabilities. Okay, I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. And is it advanced as Air Force One? No, not in the slightest. But is it capable of doing things that most civilian aircraft are not? Yes. That's it. So let's just relax on that. I'll let you know if I hear anything else. Okay. But as of right now, that's where we are. Now, a lot of people have asked me about the Iran threat, and Matt, is it credible? And listen, it's just as credible as it was in 2016 when they wanted to hit Trump for Soleimani. Before the peace talks even during the peace talks and the Iran nuclear deal, the Shah and the Ayatollah were still threatening Obama. You have to understand, this is nothing news. This is nothing exciting. This is what's been going on for a long time. Thomas says, will the SS allow the countermeasures to be used? Listen, y'all, I understand that thank you so much, Charity. I understand you guys are circumspect about the Secret Service, but please understand that the Secret Service is not who is at Butler. Most of those people were Department of Homeland Security. And even the tactical team, you saw me break them down. They were a bunch of chumps. You guys saw me break down that whole video. And the 5 major key factors to operational security when you're guarding a high-value target or you're working body detail. 4 out of... Thank you so much, Thomas. I won't bite your head off next time. Sorry, Thomas. I know you're joking. Well, what I'm saying is that a lot of people think that. They're like, oh, the Secret Service wants to kill Trump. And once again, for the NSA who just came on, we're talking here. I don't believe the Secret Service wants to do that to Trump. I believe that the reason Butler happened and the failures were negligence, that people in the higher ups were absolutely detriment to a fault and probably intentionally. And those people have been removed, dismissed, or replaced. And you're not going to hear about that. The detail that Donald Trump, thank you very much, Dan Bongino. You're worth like 22 million. Do you think that maybe you could hook us up a little bit more there, Daniel? Jeez, cheap ass. Thanks, Kevin. So the Butler were predominantly Department of Homeland Security. I outed that last night for you during the 94-page report. We know that they were trained by video conference for 2 hours. They didn't know how to handle their firearms. They had no idea what they should do during a live fire situation. There were multiple failures of epic proportions in Butler. And we know that. A lot of people think Palm Beach was the same way. And it wasn't. Palm Beach worked. Should they have swept it? Yeah, but what we found out from the 94-page report is that they asked for financing. They asked for drones. They asked for all these and didn't receive it. This was also true in Palm Beach. So This report is going to shine some light on the epic failures of the Secret Service. But let me tell you about the Secret Service. The rank and file don't want to lose a president. They just don't. And yes, there are people who are involved in the Secret Service who obviously were negligent to a point of treasonous, in my opinion. And I really hope that this 94-page report sees this through and holds these people accountable to the fullest extent of the law, and people who have resigned too, and hold them accountable. Thank you so much, Anonymous. But this is my point: is Donald Trump is about as safe as Donald Trump can be, but he will never be safe to a point that there's just no chance of something happening. You can't. Kennedy said it best. My allergies, guys. I'm sorry. If I could scratch my nose with a freaking brush, I would. Like they said, and Kennedy said, is that the only thing that it takes to take out a sitting president is a person who will exchange their life for his. And thank you, folks. We have hit goal. I appreciate that so much. Anything we can do to keep that going north, we're going to need it. But thank you so much. That means the world to me and my wife. And we can't thank you enough. You guys fucking blow me away. Every single month you blow me away. And I can't even express how much that means to me. So thank you. You guys humble me. And that's a hard thing to do because I'm not a very humble person. So Donald Trump, is he safe? No, I would never consider him to be safe. But I can tell you this: if the U.S. government wanted him gone, he would be gone. And you just need to understand that is an absolute fact. The United States has toppled governments. They've taken out and assassinated leaders. This is not difficult for them. And if I was the Secret Service, the thing I would be worried about the most right now are drones. That's my concern. And I hate to say this, but I know the Secret Service actively knows and is aware of this and have the capability to jam drones in certain amount of areas that aren't qualified to do so. And that technology is coming or here. But my biggest fear, if I'm the Secret Service and I'm doing body detail, is seeing a drone that can come in at 65, 70 miles an hour. And some of these drones can do just that and have some sort of explosive device or something like that attached to it. That scares the living shit out of me. Don't worry, Melanie. I'll take care of it. It's an easy fix. I'll do it behind the scenes. Don't sweat it. An extra large isn't going to cost you anything else. I'll do it. Just don't let me forget, Melanie. Just text me, message me, tell Liv. I'll do it when I get home. Just tell me what you want. Or not when I get home, when I get off here. Send me a quick email, exactly what you want. I'll fix it for you. Don't sweat you. You're good. I haven't submitted any of the orders. I never do. I usually wait 24 hours and I let people. Yeah, Thomas, I said it last night. I mean, Thomas asked and said, Matt, do you think the same as Dan Bongino? Yeah, and I haven't listened to Dan's show because I've been too busy with my own show. If Dan says that, the answer is yes, and I already think that. And I didn't think it until I heard Thomas Massey last night talk about the actual paid CIs and government agents that were confirming that they were involved in J6. And they were undercover and knew what was going to take place and essentially just didn't say anything. That to me, yeah, dude, Steve, I know there's drones that go 100 miles an hour. But that's all it's going to take is one going 65 to 70. I mean, you and I both know it's going to close a few hundred feet in a matter of quick seconds. And there are things that, Kyung, I know there's... Kyung, why do you talk to me like I don't fucking know these things? I mean, I just don't understand why you think that I wouldn't know this. That's not what I said. I didn't say that there's not technology already to stop drones. What I'm saying is that those countermeasures were not in place with the Secret Service. That's what I said. The assassin in Butler was able to fly his drone at some points 200, 300 feet away from Donald Trump. So if that technology was in place, that wouldn't have been possible. So no shit, dude. I don't know. I just don't know what's up your ass lately. It's like, I don't know, dude. Maybe it's just me. Help me understand. Drone jamming device already exists. It's being used by Russia at Ukraine. I'm sure we have them too. Of course we already have them. Police have them. SWAT teams have them. They bring them down. Military has them. All the bases have them. I mean, this technology has been advanced for a long time, and they're able to down these things and make them inoperable. The point is that they were not working and were not being used in Butler. That is my point. So they will have them. Sorry, dude. I just don't know. It's just like, it's not just me who said it, Kyung. Multiple people have been saying it. They're like, what's wrong with Kyung, dude? He just doesn't seem like the same guy. Usually he's so supportive and he's like, but you've been like, there's people saying you're being kind of negative and saying some real weird shit. So just chill out a little bit, bro. Just chill out. You know what my job was. You don't think I know that there's electronic countermeasures for drones? Of course I do. But we both know that they weren't working in Butler. And we also don't know if they were working in Palm Beach either. We don't even know if they were being used. So my point is that we already know they exist, but are they being put to use? They will be in the future. And that I have that on good account. So my point is, my biggest fear is a drone with explosives. That terrifies the shit out of me. And my understanding is that there are people in the Secret Service who are aware of this, who believe that this is the next level threat that they can anticipate if it is going to be something, and they have made good on rectifying that possibility. That's my understanding. Whether it is or not, I have no idea. So I don't mean to jump your shit, dude, but maybe I'm a little sensitive tonight, but this has like been a few weeks now where you and I seem to be doing this, so just like, let's slow down and let's listen to what I'm saying, because if I'm reading every comment, it distracts the show. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm constantly having to go, wait a second, that's not what I said. I've seen drones with thermite attached to them used in Ukraine. Pretty devastating. Yeah. We saw one hit the Kremlin, top of the Kremlin, which was sent by Ukraine. Matt, he might be saying to help back you and help. Yeah, no, Elizabeth, that's not what it is. But thank you. Thank you for your positive intent. This has been going on for a few weeks. So we just need to like do what we always do is I need to like butt heads with somebody, and I need to realize that either I'm being a dick or he's being a dick, or neither of us are being a dick or misunderstanding each other. I'm just being honest. That's the only way I know how to be. All right, good, great. So let us handle it. I try to get all snippets of the show. It's hard to keep track, but you and Dan and the Shadow Davis show are pretty much all I listen to, because you can only do so much. Yeah, well, that's the truth. But I believe in, if Dan Bongino says it, I trust Dan, because he has, like I've said this 100 times in the show, he has many more reliable sources in the Secret Service than I do. I have a few people who work Secret Service detail. I know a few people who work on Air Force One security. I know a few people who have been on his private detail. But that doesn't mean that I've got even remotely close to the same information. But I absolutely feel that there is a 100% oppositional power inside the U.S. government working against Donald Trump in every facet that they can muster, without just simply doing a mafia-style 38 snub-nose hit. They've tried to get him with $52 million Mueller investigation. They've tried to impeach him twice, wanted to do a third time. They've spied on his campaign. They've used FISA warrants. They've used foreign operatives to write a dirty dossier on him to go ahead and get those hidden court FISA warrants. They wiretapped his personal premises. They raided his house for no reason. They went through his wife's personal garments. They stole his passport, his IDs. They didn't notify him or the lawyers that they were going to show up. They tried to tie Russian collusion to him. They tried to set him up with a phony Russian meeting, but you've got Adam Schiff, who's taking phony Russian agents talking to him live on a radio, and Adam is cooperating and working with Russian assets to get dirt on Trump. You've got quid pro quo charges against Trump on a phone call that was never released, on notes that were taken posthumous from when the call was taken. They used it on recollection only. So some of these calls aren't tape recorded. Other calls are transcribed. These were manually transcribed. So you're going to find some sort of distortion in these things. And most of these people are ridiculous. These people who transcribe these calls, they take minutes, like a court reporter. And they listen to the call and they transcribe it. But the mistakes can take place. But it doesn't matter. The point is that is not Donald Trump. And it's not his voice, but they're saying it's quid pro quo. He is the head law enforcement in the land. He is to protect us from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Joe Biden was on tape blackmailing Ukraine and Burisma to fire the prosecutor that was investigating his son's illicit dealings in company. I'm sorry, that's quid pro quo. I'm going to hold the $1 billion unless you fire. Son of a bitch. They did. By 5 o'clock, they fired him. Well, Donald Trump is like, listen, Ukraine is corrupt. You want us to keep providing defense for you. Your corruption level is ridiculous. You have child sex trafficking to an epic level. Human trafficking is an epic level. You guys have money laundering. You print phony currency. The oligarchs, Russian oligarchs, are there, and it's mafioso style underbelly of your entire country. You have the Azov Battalion, which has ties to the neo-Nazis and worshiping neo-Nazis and using symbology from the Third Reich. Donald Trump said, you need to clean your shit up if you're going to be in the UN. And secondly, we need to know if somebody in this administration who sat in this chair did things that were corrupt. So I want to know. And I expect you to find that information. And as the head law enforcement of the land, he has absolutely every right to use the Department of Justice and the DOD how he sees fit to enforce the laws of this land. That's not quid pro quo. I am going to cease giving you money unless you do this, which it's not saying cover up a crime. It's not saying partner with me in crime. It's exposing crime. And we've been doing that to countries. Kennedy did it with Cuba. He traded missiles with frickin' Khrushchev. We saw this in South America with the cartels. The United States government allowed a certain amount of drugs to cross our border. And as long as we kept it down and showed actual positive gains with the war on drugs, we wouldn't be raiding any of the cartels on their land. We traded weapons in Greece and we funded the Afghanis. Does anyone really think that we haven't blackmailed governments before? But what Donald Trump did was actually hold them accountable to the corruption in their country and said, he didn't say, give me dirt on Joe Biden. That's not what he said in any way, shape, or form. So hold on. We got to keep this in perspective. But if we're going to sit here and say that all these things took place, he gets shot at twice, the ball was dropped. This isn't there isn't only 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump. I hope you know that. There's multiple. We're not in the 2s right now. We're in the multiples. Now, you've heard about 2, but you haven't heard about the other attempts. And the reason why is that's when the Secret Service does their job perfectly. But there was also a guy that tried to climb the stage and had a handgun, and that was done in 2016 during the campaign? No, 2020 in the campaign. But you also have other plots that have been foiled. So when you ask me, is there a secondary government? Listen, I'm telling you right now, Brennan, Tapper, Comey, 100% with no equivocation, want Trump eliminated in any way possible. And they are going to try from a financial standpoint, a legal standpoint. They're going to try to scare him off the podium. They've done all those. What do you think's next? Donald Trump, I have said this, and I've been saying it for 4 years, Donald Trump will never sit in the White House again based upon how they feel. Because they have called him a Nazi. They have said he's going to destroy democracy, that he'll never give up power, that he will have retribution against anyone who opposes him. Why would you ever allow someone like that to take power? Chuck Schumer said it. Biden said it. What happens if Donald Trump wins? Oh, we have our ways, right? They're not going to allow it to happen. So if you think that this guy is just November 5th is going to come up and Donald Trump's going to win and he's going to take Virginia and Pennsylvania and it's going to be over by 9 o'clock and they're going to swear him in on January 20th, I think that is probably the most naive and hopeful. I would encourage you to hope in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first. That's what I would encourage you to do, because I don't see that happening in any way, shape, or form. I think there'll be an emergency act in Congress to institute the 25th Amendment. They will immediately say that he is a felon. They will say that he's a danger. They will have a vote. They will grease whatever wheels. They will blackmail whoever they want. They'll get the votes, and they will try to bar him from taking the presidency. And anyone thinks that that's not true has not been paying attention for 4 years. Is this Kevin on the phone?
Yes, it is.
What do you want to talk about, buddy?
The letter that the attempted assassination.
Yeah.
At the golf course.
Yeah.
Why did he say attempted before he even went to the golf course?
That's what I said all along. I mean, you heard me say that, is that I don't feel like this guy was there to kill Trump. He didn't want to kill Trump. I think this guy.
But at the same time, that letter was an open. I'm sorry, I'm getting angry. That letter was an open invitation for Iran. Like, hey, look at how close I got.
Yeah.
Look at how easy it was for me to get this close. I'm sorry I failed, but you guys could do it. That letter was an invitation for a foreign country to come in and whack a presidential candidate, in my opinion.
That's totally fine. Opinion is fantastic. You know that. I will tell you, Iran doesn't need any help on how to assassinate somebody. They don't need any help. They know exactly how they would do it. But let me explain something. Iran and Russia and North Korea have been doing this shit for 40 years. And they never act on it because all they can do is talk about it. Because what happens if we hit Iran? Or what happens if Iran kills Trump? So Iran kills Trump. What do you think happens?
War.
Right.
Declaration of war.
Declaration of war, 100%. And not only war, but every sovereign country, United Nations, every country who even hates America will contribute, or they will feel the ire of the United States. This will be Reagan. If you're not with us, you're against us. And I don't care who's in office. Kamala Harris, Biden, it doesn't matter. She will have no choice. And we will go to war with Iran.
Which is what they wanted when Trump was in office. They wanted war with Iran.
They wanted
Trump
him.
even said it.
Right. Well, Bolton wanted to go. Bolton's
This
one
is
of the
a
biggest.
win-win, no?
It's not a win-win. It's a lose-lose. I've already told you my
lose for us, but it's a win-win for them. They wanted war with Iran when Trump was in office.
They've wanted war with Iran since 1970, and the English were pushing it. England wanted to. Everyone says that Israel is the big fucking, manipulator in the world. It's England. The whole reason we're at odds with Iran is because of English rule. In fact, any conflict we had with Iran is not because of the Jews. It has nothing to do with the Jews. It has everything to do with England. And a lot of Iran is England. Iran is to England as Cuba is to us. And that's the best thing I can say.
Side.
Well, right. They put them into the Stone Age from sanctions, from constant conflicts, from running proxies, from funding the Iraqis. England has instigated more shit in the Middle East than the Jews. And everyone's like, oh, the Jews. It's like, you know what? You're such idiots. Because they don't focus on
this show.
Yeah, they don't focus on the real issues of what England did to instigate conflict between us. And they asked us to do it. And the reason why is on the international stage, if England would have got involved with that, well, then you would have other countries that would rally up against England. So because of their involvement in Europe, because of their stature in Europe, they had us pick fights with Iran. And they had us impose sanctions on Iran. Iran emulated their entire country after us. People have no idea what Iran looked like in the 70s.
Before,
It just,
Before
dude, it was
Ayatollah.
all, it was poodle skirts. And then England wanted us to assassinate the Ayatollah. And multiple failed missions and multiple failed encounters ultimately got Iran retaliating against us. And once the Ayatollah came over, this is where you saw the airliners hijacked and the passenger liners hijacked. You guys remember this. You were alive through it, and I was too. And you saw what England did. So Ronald Reagan partnered with Thatcher. When they said they counted on America to be passive, they counted wrong. Who do you think Ronald Reagan was talking about? When Margaret Thatcher...
I was like late teens or early 20s when Carter was president.
Well, that's Carter.
It was humiliating until Reagan got in.
Yeah. Yeah, but trust me, Reagan and this whole thing, England had a shit ton to do with our conflict with Iran that we're in today. So
and always have.
Oh yeah, England's a shithole. People always talk about the Ming Dynasty. They always talk about the Huns. They always talk about the Japanese, the Germans. England was one of the largest world terrors for a longer period of time than just about anybody outside the Ming Dynasty. The Ming Dynasty was a terror to the Chinese and the Mongolians, but England was a terror to the whole fucking world. I mean, they were horrible. So between the United Kingdom and England and Iran, the geopolitics, it's really, really complicated. And the United States and UK, between Margaret Thatcher and Reagan, had a really, really close relationship. And it was through economics, military, diplomatic cooperation. You saw the F-1 Tornado General Dynamics being shared with England. You saw the Harriers being shared with us. The AV-8Bs, the Sea Harrier, Marine Corps base, Navy base Harriers, which were pieces of shit, but all came from the Royal Air Force. So there was this huge... a lot of missile systems came out of England. A lot of our intelligence agencies, MI6, CIA, FBI, were all attached at the hip together. And they aligned on all international issues, man. I mean, there's not an international issue in the 80s with Reagan and Thatcher where they were opposed to each other. This partnership was absolutely huge. And a lot of it was because we had to fight the KGB. FBI and KGB had a silent war. There was over 3,700 agents on both sides killed by the other. MI6 played a huge role in this. I mean, England they literally helped us turn the tide against KGB and Russia. But this clandestine war took place, and it was incredibly large. But before Reagan, 1979, you had the Iranian Revolution. You remember? Mm-hmm. Okay, well,
when the Shah was deposed or whatever it was.
Yeah, and we were supposed to get the Ayatollah taken out. England told us.
I'm not.
Oh yeah, the CIA tried to kill multiple times. Multiple times, CIA tried to kill him. Multiple times. But the sanctions, diplomatic pressure, all tried to influence Iran. And you're also talking about their nuclear program in 1979. This was a huge, huge focus for the United States to ensure that they did not get nukes. And by doing this, England and the United States put incredible pressure on Iran that ultimately created some of these groups. So UK and Iran were in constant conflict. They tried to do a diplomatic approach, and then when they didn't, they got the U.S. involved. And they got the U.S. involved in trade negotiations, on sanctions, and when that didn't work, they started using paramilitary style intervention in Iran. Now, does that mean it's our fault that Iran is where it's at? No, that's not it at all. What it says is that relationship with England, that between Thatcher and Ronald Reagan, cultivated this animosity between Iran and the United States because they felt after the Iran war, they wanted to go a certain way with the Shah and with the Ayatollah, and their government was trying to assert power from the people. And England and the United States did not want that to take place. So they intervened like we did in Iraq, like we did with Bosnia-Herzegovina, like we did in Syria, like we did in the Congo, like we did in Egypt, like we did in Libya. And we've done on like 26 different countries around the world where we've tried to install democracy and ultimately became a failure. And what we did is we radicalized the Iranian regime based on these actions. And what we should have done is kill them all. And that's the harsh truth. If you're going to go into a man's home and you're going to try to circumvent their power, their government, and alter where they're going and put economic pressure and sanctions and literally make it difficult for this country to effectively run a sovereign nation and be on the world stage, you're going to have resistance if you leave those people in place, especially when they're Muslim. I'm sorry. Muslims have been killing each other for a long time. Their answer for everything is that if there is not peace, we're at war.
Jesus.
Yes, right. If there's not peace, we're at war. So my point being is that England, I am not a fan of England at all. Never have been. And this is one of the many reasons why. A lot of the wars we've gotten into were because of England.
You may see this as an ignorant point of view, and that's okay. But I, from what I know of history, I did admire England for standing up to Hitler. And it wasn't England that stood up there. It was mostly Churchill. If from what I understand, Churchill was like, this guy is fucking nuts. He's going to try to take over all of Europe.
Well,
and everybody was laughing at him, and it was proven that he was right. Oh man, what was the guy's name? Peace in Our Time, holding up the paper. Yep, begins with an N.
Wait, on which side?
Before in Britain, in England, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Oh God, I don't know.
Before Churchill came into power, it was the guy before him.
Are you talking about a prime minister? Wait, are you talking about a prime minister? Are you talking about prime minister?
It's right on the tip of my tongue. I'm pissed. We'll forget that point. He came out and he had a peace agreement with Hitler.
Oh, Chamberlain.
Peace in Our Time.
Chamberlain. Yeah, Neville Chamberlain.
Neville.
Yeah. Okay.
Neville. Damn it. Sorry.
Thank you, Lee. But, you're the best, buddy.
The Neville Chamberlain was a moron. I mean, they had to be laughing at him. And then Churchill was the only one that kind of like said, what are you, out of your mind? So I admired England's tenacity in standing up against the Third Reich.
So do I. It's not that I don't. But the issue that I take is that there's a couple things. One is that Adolf Hitler, there are speeches that he's giving that he gave that have been interpreted by AI, and they're all over TikTok right now. And people are like, oh my God, he was so based. Hitler was so truthful. Hitler was a fucking maniac. And when people are saying, well, Hitler offered peace proposals to the English and the French, he did. He constantly, but he also invaded Austria and fucking Poland. Okay, so this guy literally goes into Austria and Poland and goes, peace. I want peace. Give me peace. I want peace. I want
any further.
I want to go back to the table. Give me peace. Give me peace. And then the Blitzkrieg happened in France. And they literally took France in like 72 hours, hopped up on methamphetamines and fucking speedballs. It's a true story. And it was one of the greatest military strategies ever executed from a cavalry standpoint, horse or mechanized infantry. It was incredible. But
he walked around the Maginot Line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And he waited till all the Allied forces and the French forces were up in the north. And he basically just did one big rope-a-dope. I mean, listen, Hitler was a lot of things. A horrible military strategist was not one of them. He just wasn't. And it wasn't Hitler that was great. It's not Hitler empowered he empowered his generals before he murdered them all. But Adolf Hitler was so fucking looped out of his mind on methamphetamines. This guy was insane. I mean, this guy did enough methamphetamine to kill a horse. I mean, he was doing incredible amounts of methamphetamine and speed. And that shit deteriorates your brain and your body and your decision making. And he became
Very
not
fast.
just irritable, became volatile to the point of making decisions that ultimately were getting people killed. And his generals would tell him. And they would try to tell him, and he would have them assassinated or executed. So anyway, my point is this, is Iran has wanted to kill presidents, prime ministers for a shit ton of time. This hasn't changed.
Do you think Iran is looking at these attempts saying, now's the time?
No, because if they
we're
do
ever
that,
going to get away with this, if we're
But
ever
what-
going to get it, now's the time, because they've gotten too close twice in the last 2 months.
if Iran kills a sitting president or former president, Iran will cease to exist. The entire world, including Saudi Arabia, Russia, and even China, will get involved. It'll be a cataclysmic event for Iran as Gaza was for Hamas. Every single fucking country will obliterate Iran, because if you start going to open season on leaders, that shit ain't gonna fly. You can kill some generals, you can kill some diplomats, maybe an ambassador or two. You start taking out countries' leaders, you're gonna have instability in that country like you would not believe. Because not only are you going to inspire other countries to hit your leaders, you're going to inspire the people of that country to overthrow whoever's there and kill them too. Nobody wants leaders starting to get knocked off. Nobody. It hasn't happened in civilized history. It happened with the Greeks and it happened with the Romans, but that's about it. It doesn't happen in history. Maybe opposing countries kill each other's leaders, but you don't, and they tried to do it with Darius, right? Alexander the Great tried to do it with Darius and wanted to cut the head off the snake by killing Darius. But in civilized society, in the modern day world, taking out political leaders of superpower or extremely top 20 military industrial complex countries, yeah, you don't assassinate leaders. It's just not smart. If Iran
we
does
didn't even
it,
assassinate Saddam.
that's my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
But see, Saddam isn't a world power. You can get away with assassinating.
No, I'm saying we didn't even.
Well, right, but you don't. You could, right, but you could. We tried to kill Castro. We tried to kill Castro like 76 times. I mean, that guy had 9 lives. They tried to do everything. They tried to poison his. They tried to put in his food. They tried to do it in his cigars, explosive cigar. They tried hitmen. They tried everything. Insanity. So
you have a lot of, I don't know, you know a lot more things than the general public knows.
Well, there's a lot of people don't read books anymore, and they don't listen, and they don't study. And when they decide to watch something on TV, they want to watch Kim Kardashian's tits and ass. Me, I'd rather watch a documentary on World War II. I'd rather watch an opposing viewpoint who think that Hitler was a hero. Okay, let's listen to this fucking guy, so I can literally tear apart his argument. But
I would have turned that off.
Hitler. I just want to say this. In the first 10 to 11 years of his rise to power, Hitler was one charming son of a bitch. And he could give a speech. And we listened to it and we're like, and you're like, oh my God, he's screaming and fucking yelling. But if you listen to what he says, a lot of it it's nationalism. It's isolationalism. It's leave our country alone and let us do what we want, and let's take the corruption out of government, and let's stop the degradation of our country, and let's Germans take care of Germans. I mean, does this sound familiar? Why do you think they malign Trump with Hitler? Because a lot of what he says makes sense. The problem is that Donald Trump doesn't want to fucking kill 11 million people to make it happen.
And he would, even if he wins this election, he would only be in power for 4 years.
Yeah, and if anyone thinks so, a lot of people like Alexandra thinks that I think, and I gotta God love her because she always hits me on this. I think it's Alexandra. She's always like, you don't think he's gonna win, do you? And you've left subtle breadcrumbs, folks. I'm setting you up for it. Yeah, I am, and it's not because I don't think he can't win the Electoral College. And it's not that I think the Democrats are going to try to cheat or manipulate or, have an unconstitutional election again. I don't think that. They can't let him get into power. Can you imagine, and listen to me really close here. They have spent 9 years saying that he is Hitler, that he is an extremist, that he is a fascist, that he is going to destroy the Constitution, that he will usurp the power of the people, that he will be a dictator on day one. These are just some of that he is an existential threat. They called him a bug on The View, and Joe Biden squashed him. After 2 assassination attempts, Joe Biden insinuated that he was a bug and to smash him. Now, I want you to think of all those things that they said, all those weatherman predictions, all those stock exchange forecasts, all those bet on blacks, not the color from skin, but from the roulette wheel, bet on red. What you think of all that? How in the fuck do you think, A, that the United States government is going to be able to keep peace and order after they elected Hitler, number one? And number two, how do you think the Democrats are ever going to win another election when none of those things happen from Trump? He can't take office. They won't let him see office. They can't. That is why. He will turn every one of them into liars. He will prove every one of them wrong.
Unless Trump does decide to clean house.
Even
you go
if he
after
does.
the 3-letter agencies and
He can't.
all of these higher.
He can't, though. He
echelons.
He doesn't have the power to do that. Those are funded by Congress. They're not funded by Donald Trump. He can't write an executive order and disband the FBI.
He fired Comey.
Yeah, he can fight. Okay, but that's different. That's an assigned position, and they serve at the discretion of the president of the United States. But
You don't have to go down about 4 tiers before you got to someone that wasn't corrupted.
They don't have to go down, bro. They have to go up. It's not the down they need to worry about. This is bigger than the institutions of our government. This is somebody else pulling the strings. This is a group of people pulling the strings. This is an extremely. You're goddamn right. It's scary. It has nothing to do with our government.
That's scary.
Yes,
Because these are people we don't even know about.
That's correct. That's correct. Zoom meeting is October 4th or 5th. We're not doing one. Olivia needs a break. So I waved it off. We knew this was going on a couple days ago. So we're going to have the Zoom call next Saturday. But that's, I mean, really, truly, man, that's what you need to worry about. It's not punching down. It's you need to punch up.
Yeah,
that's the true concern.
I understand what you say. Like, you understand the way I was looking at it. They have like layers of the higher upper echelons. And you have to go through all of those layers to get to people that would actually do their job the way they're designed to be done. But even if you did all of that, the guy on top is still on top, and we don't even know who he is.
That's right. That is what I'm trying to explain.
Or they. It's not a who. It's a they.
Here's my. This isn't conspiracy theory. Okay, if you go back to the beginning of time. And you go back to the hierarchy and Maslow hierarchy of needs. Have you ever seen it?
No, go.
Okay, let me show you. Hold on a second.
Oh, you got another call coming in, Matt.
No, I don't. I'm just putting your name in here.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just.
I have the audio off.
Okay, I'm just putting your name on there on the screen so people can see it. Okay, so they go, who the frack is Matt talking to? So Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Let me pull up a graphic so everyone can see it. A lot of people know this who Here's a graphic of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay. So the first start of Maslow hierarchy of needs states that there is a stasis to be reached, like a homeostasis, like a level of not euphoria, but of fulfilling one's requirements for quality of life. Okay. And you start off with psychological needs as the bottom rung of this pyramid. Okay. So psychological needs, which would be the basic things to ensure that you're taken care of. Psychological needs would be like air, water, food, shelter, clothing. These things are important because without them, you cannot fulfill your psychological needs. These are, you can't think if you're hungry. You can't think if you're naked and cold. You can't think if you don't sleep. Then it comes to safety, which is like warmth. If you don't, you die. Oxygen, employment, finances. These give you your safety, your blanket that protects you. Then you have love and belongings on the next tier, and that's relationships, friends, family, a buddy. And the second to last tier is esteem, respect, self-efficacy, virtue, strength. This is where esteem is established. And then at the very end of the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is self-actualization. Comes from self-awareness, the ability to bring others in and help them feel like they belong, to start the pyramid over, which is a cyclical experience to help humanity and help people climb to the highest run possible. Why do I bring this up? Because there is a group of people, well, I'll tell you, there's a group of people who are actively resisting from another segment of people from reaching these heights. And they don't want us at self-actualization. They don't want us at esteem. They want us somewhere in the middle between safety needs and love and belonging. And it's a never-ending search. And the best way for them to ensure that we do not reach a stasis of normalcy or plateau with our potential to help others, all boats rise at high tide, where the individual impacts the collective, right? Which is what we talk about a republic as being. There is an active movement to keep people out of esteem and self-actualization, self-awareness.
Enslavement?
It's not enslavement. Enslavement would be putting somebody in psychological needs. They're giving them the basic necessity to survive, but they are removing the fulfilling things that a brain and a free human being would need. Carrie, thank you so much for your donation. So enslavement falls in the Maslow hierarchy of needs of psychological. This is love and belonging and safety. Let me explain. The powers that be that are trying to interrupt the climbing of this pyramid in Maslow's hierarchy of needs is they are trying to keep us in a perpetual state of fear, which falls in the safety category, and divide us based upon that fear by blaming the other person, which stops the love and acceptance from taking place. So you keep people in that constant stasis of disarray, searching in a circular pattern between safety and love, that they'll never reach a level of self-worth, and they will never reach a level of self-actualization, knowing who they are, what they're capable of, and reaching that potential, because they are in a perpetual state of being constantly in the same stasis.
It's
And
not
there is
enslavement, but at the same time, it's preventing you from thriving.
That's correct. Well, it's preventing you from challenging and changing Because imagine right now, if you could wake up and every single person on the planet who has a voice, or just everyone in the United States, has a voice, to have the esteem to use it, the passion to stand up and speak, to use their God-given right of speech, to have the confidence in themselves that they will say something profound, at least to change one mind, and the self-actualization to point that energy at the right people who are responsible for this. Can you imagine what the United States would look like? This entire country would reach a state of success that we never have. And we almost had it. We almost had it. But for a certain group of people, at the expense of a group of people. And it doesn't matter whether it was slavery with African Americans. It doesn't matter with our hatred for the LGBTQ community at one point. It doesn't matter for our hatred for Russians or somebody else. At one point, there was a time when a specific group of people were reaching a level of esteem and pride. They ate the right foods. They took care of themselves to the best of their ability. They weren't worried about their mortality. They had a higher belief and faith. And it was just a fleeting moment in our country's history where we were almost there at the expense of other people, which really, that's where self-actualization would come in, where we would realize that what we're doing to another group of people was wrong, that we had to change our ways, and that it was self-destructive to the betterment of our country. I believe we were almost there. And it all turned. And I give the date is November 22nd, 1963 at 12:31 p.m. in Dallas, Texas, when we completely abandoned all of those things. And the belief and the esteem and the love and the almost self-actualization of where we were as a country or where we could be, that we could do great things, that we could go to the moon, that we could revolutionize medicine, that we could create chips that would ultimately just alter the entire future of our technological advancement, that we could write sonnets, that we could write three-piece orchestras at the ages of 6 and 7 with some people, that we could paint the Sistine Chapel, that we could do anything we wanted. We could build bridges and skyscrapers that reached the sun and the stars. We were so close. And it was taken away from us. And we have been falling and in a perpetual state of seeking love and belonging and safety ever since. So when you ask me, should we just change out an FBI director or a CIA director or a president? No, you need to find the power that wants to keep us in a stasis of disarray and never reach our fullest potential. And when you understand who that is, it leads you to one group of people. It's the people who control the media. It's the people who have the keys to the universe. It's the people who ultimately control what you consume. From your food, to the air you breathe, to the information you disseminate, process, and absorb. That's it. That's the answer. That's about as philosophical as I get, Kevin.
That's a whole lot to digest, but
yeah, but it's, you know what it is? You know what it's not? It's not fucking Democrats are to blame. It's not, Repubtards, because that's as far as we can think. We are so clogged up spiritually and emotionally that we are so blinded by what the real problem is. It's not transvestites. It's not transgender people. It's not abortions. It's not gun rights. None of those things are the real issue. The real issue are the people who are perpetuating lies and instilling it to both sides simultaneously to sell marketing and advertising ad nauseum. The Rothschilds. The fucking Rothschilds. You come on, Chris. Chris, you got to be smarter than, after everything I just said, and you're going to do exactly what I said not to do, which is to try to pigeonhole one group of people. You might as well say the Hiltons. What about the Waltons? What about the Kennedys? How about the three major names in political history over the last 40 years that are three of them? You got the Bushes, you got the Clintons. Those are the two major parties that you have that have literally monopolized in one way or another every single election over the last 35, 40 years. Give me a break. And the Kennedys were the third. So my point is, you can sit here and say, it's the Jews, but it's not the Jews. The Jews are going after their peace. And how can anyone who makes up 1.6% of the entire world and don't even make a fraction of the net worth of the entire world be in charge of the world? The reason why Jews are hated so much is because they've always controlled the money wherever they've been. And that pisses people off. It creates jealousy and resentment and nefarious thoughts in their head that the Jews are trying to take over the world. The Jews are not an empire. They don't conquer anybody. They own nothing. They own a sliver of desert in the Middle East that is pushed against the sea, that has had multiple countries for 2,000, almost 3,000 years want to obliterate them off the earth for their land, and they're still here. So that's either God or that's just really good luck. And either way, both deserve respect. I don't understand why Christians are so mad at Jews when they're the chosen ones. God, I don't know if you know this, was a Jew. I just don't understand. But when everyone goes to the Rothschilds, I'm like, that is, I'm not here to defend the Rothschilds. I'm not going to defend BlackRock. I'm not going to defend Bill Gates. I'm not going to defend anybody who ultimately uses their riches, their influence to manipulate the people. But guys and girls, that's everybody. That's not just the Rothschilds. It's anybody who has access to buy politicians. You want to change this country? You want to change it tomorrow? Destroy all political action committees and ban access in Washington, D.C. Quarantine Washington, D.C. Yep, 5-mile circumference around Washington, D.C., the Capitol building, 5 miles. No political action committees can enter. No lawyers can enter that don't have official business in Washington. No lobbying. Citizens United needs to be absolved, and all stock investment and all foreign investments, once you become a senator, have to cease 2 years before running and 10 years after your term. And you want to see that swamp cleared out? Like that. Hasidic Jews have been, listen, yes, and you know what? People who follow the Old Testament are too. Religious zealots, Christians are that way too. Opus Dei from Catholics are like that. There's Buddhist monks that have, the Mogadeen have an absolute 100% complete opposite philosophy of Buddhism or Shaolin principle. Every single religious sect has its crazy. Mormons have Donnie and Marie Osmond. That's enough. It's a joke. But every religious sect has its crazies. And the Hasidic Jews, yeah, man, it's almost in the name, but that's not what it means. But there's a toxicity level, and the Talmud is not all Jews. The Hasidic Jews believe in the Talmud. They believe that Jesus is in hell and he's in defecation and in constant torment. Yeah. But the Old Testament was based off of some of these writings. And the Old Testament believes that you should be able to stone your mother, that you should sell your children into slavery, that if you plant crops side by side, that ultimately it's a sin. That if you wear two different garments, that it's ultimately a sin and deserves stoning. That you can't touch the skin of a dead thing. And if you do, you're considered unclean. So I guess, me wearing my leather jacket in the winter, I need to be put to death. I guess Kevin, when he puts on that leather belt, deserves to die too. It's not just Jews. Religion has been, they called it the Dark Ages for a reason. The Bronze Age saw a complete change from all religions. And you can go into the Muslims, you can go into the Jews, you can go into the Buddhists, you can go into the Christians. But the Dark Ages, with the Moors and the Saxons killing each other, you had the Persians and the Romans going after each other. You had an incredible time of just constant conflict and war in the name of God, whatever God that may be. And then we came out of that period with a common enemy. And the common enemy that we had was ourselves. So isolationism took over. And people started narrowing their focus, not on the world, but on their own country and their own development. And there became a race for mercantile and economics. And then corruption kicked in. And money and power and votes and governments were established in order to keep the people in line and to develop militaries that were stronger and better than ever, but always backed by the industrial complex of the almighty dollar. Not dollar then. Could be the yen, could be the gold, could be the franc, could be the Cougaran. Doesn't matter, whatever country you want to say. But that is where we went to, was a focus on military might and land and property, and focused it on money, on votes, on staying in power. And this was the fall of every single government. And I don't care who it is. Could be the Greeks, could be the Romans, could be the Ming Dynasty, could be the Hungs, could be the Moors, could be the Persians, could be Attila the Hun, Napoleon. I mean, fuck, man. There is not one country on the planet today that is in existence that was in a major power and has not either been taken over, replaced. There are no more empires from that time period. They have completely become obsolete. They were overthrown or they were eradicated. There is not one place on earth that hasn't been conquered. So when we say it's the Rothschilds, that's an easy thing to say now. But before, who was it before the Rothschilds? There's questions we have to ask. The one thing that is consistent in all of these things is the governments failed the people. The governments were responsible, and it became corruption. And it's happening here, and the United States will fail. The United States will crumble. It will be Venezuela if we do not stop this. But you know what it's going to take? It's going to take someone to come in and kill the things that we just said. Political action committees, dark money, campaign contributions from out of state, multi-million-dollar fucking PACs that are putting $250 million. $250 million. George Soros is going to buy 248 radio stations and black them out with Democrat propaganda.
Conservative radio stations.
Yeah. That's not election interference? Folks, you don't understand. These politicians, they all go to the same frats. They were all members of the same sorority. They all played on the same football teams for the same alma maters. They live in the same neighborhoods. They know each other. Democrats and Republicans, they don't hate each other. Do you guys know that Gavin Newsom and Sean Hannity are like best friends? Do you guys even know that? How the fuck do you think he got him to debate Ron DeSantis on Fox? It's because him and Newsom are buddies. Lindsey Graham, do you think he hates Nadler? Do you think he hates McConnell? Do you think he hates Nancy Pelosi? Do you think that these politicians all don't share the same stock tips? Do you think they all don't have dirt on each other? Folks, we hate the wrong people. We're focused on the wrong party. The party are the elites. And we're sitting here eating each other. This is what they want, because we will never reach our state, our stasis of self-efficacy and self-esteem and self-worth and self-actualization until we stop eating each other. It's crazy, man. So when someone says the Rothschilds, I just laugh. When Nick Fuentes, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. My entire history goes back to 1940, and that's all I know. I can't deal with that shit. Because it's not that simple. Oh, the Jews, they have the United States do their bidding. Yeah, the United States does it willingly, but England was worse. I don't see people hating England. Watch this. Can you hear this real quick? Kevin, can you hear this?
I hear you,
this.
yes.
All right, I'm going to play this real quick. Listen to this. Well, here, I'll just bring this picture in. Oh, man. I had so much to cover tonight, but Kevin always is such a good phone call. I love it when you call. All right. Other people do too, because they even say it. Oh, I love when Kevin calls. Here, let me download this. I'm going to read this. Folks, by the way, we now have Venmo, and you can find that on link.tapgo/The Dumb Show. And we appreciate all the contributions tonight. They have been incredible. And Olivia lost her job today, so she is just distraught. And your support has been unfreaking believable. So thank you. All right. So this one I'm going to read real quick, Kev, and then I'll let you go. All right. So this is, you probably can't see it, but this is from the Committee of Oversight and Accountability, which basically they might as well just call it oversight without accountability. That would be easier. The Honorable Jessica
Rosenworcel.
Yeah. Rosenworcel. I don't know. Fucking Polish people. All right. Dear Chairwoman Rosenworcel. It's got to be Rosenworcel. The Committee on Oversight and Accountability is investigating an apparent attempt by Federal Communications FCC majority to interfere in the 2024 election and politicize the work of the FCC. The FCC appears to be bypassing standard process and procedures in an unprecedented way to benefit a Democrat mega donor acquiring a majority equity stake in hundreds of local radio stations across the country. The committee seeks documents and communications to assist the committee, blah, fucking blah, fucking blah. George Soros, a Democrat mega donor and financier of organizations advocating for speech restrictions and censorship of conservatives online, is attempting to purchase $415 million in debt in a Chapter 11 reorganization of Odyssey. Now, I've worked with Odyssey for years. I have purchased $5 to $6 million in advertising from Odyssey myself in my jobs as VP of marketing in several different companies. Odyssey is huge. It's massive. Okay. It's right up there with iHeart. A company that owns over 200 radio stations will ultimately become a major shareholder when the bankruptcy deal concludes. Recently, George Soros and his company, Soros Fund Management, has sought to consolidate control over the airwaves. Sorry, my eyes. For example, Soros Fund Management is investing in podcast platforms and purchasing radio stations in major media markets, which has ramifications of what Americans hear and influence political dialogue in this country. Indeed, 31% of all media consumption in the United States consists of audio, even more than television consumption at 24%. I should know my podcast just reached number 15 in news media. Let me say that again. Non-major networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, blah, blah, blah. Top 15 in news media, my podcast just hit. For the first time ever, I'm actually making money on my podcast. People listen. I've been putting the live shows on the podcast. They are fucking going off the charts. I think we've done 250,000 downloads this quarter. That is massive. Podcasts have been my number one income now over Facebook. And what they want to do is they want to take that information and they want to put liberal Democrat ads on my podcast. And if this goes through, I'm turning my ads off. Because I am not going to play George Soros funded shit on my podcast. Kamala Harris wants to put an ad on my podcast, completely fine with that. That doesn't bother me at all. She has every right to vie for my airspace. But for this guy to monopolize Odyssey and go in and get a bankruptcy chapter to rewrite overall and purchase their inventory remaining for Q4 and buy these stations is absolutely, this needs to be struck down. This is a monopoly. This is unsafe and unfair practices. You can't do this, and they need to shut it down. Kevin, you get last word,
Wouldn't it be
buddy.
better to allow the commercials and then fact check them?
No, because the problem is that I don't know exactly what commercial we're hearing, because there are hundreds of different commercials that play on my show. So you might hear something for Propecia, and then the next minute you hear something about Walgreens or CVS. So I don't control the ads on my show. So needless to say, it's insanity. It's insanity what they're doing. You get
When you say number 15 on news-related podcast, would that be included? The Dan Bongino show would be included in that?
No, because those are no. Let me explain. Those are syndicated shows. This is unsyndicated podcast. This is out there. People doing podcasts that are news category driven podcasts. We were ranked number 15 last month.
Damani would be in there, right?
No, he's not. He's not classified as a news podcast. See, some people classify sports. Some people do it as news. Some people do it as entertainment, music, whatever. But this is through Good Pods, and these are registered podcasts which make the top ranking of downloads and interaction. And we were ranked number 15. The highest we'd ever done before that was like 34 or 26, something like that. So to get top 15, and I think it was for the month, is good. If you take a look and you go to the website, I think we've got it up on the website. Let me go look. Yeah, so this is off Good Pods, and I don't know where our ranking is this week. But if you look right here, we got a badge for top 50 podcasts. I haven't put the new one up. There it is, top 50 podcasts of the week on Good Pods for news commentary. And Don't Unfriend Me show has reached, I think 26 was our highest, but we got top 15 last month or week. I didn't check what it said. So that basically takes the news podcasts, which focus on the news, and it takes, you have to have a certain amount of requirements. You have to have a certain amount of shows. You have to have a certain amount of penetration with the market. And then you get ranked on your downloads, your listening time, your rankings, all that. And they put it all together and you get a top rating. Now, Good Pods, they basically monitor, probably 30-40% of the podcasts out there, because the rest just don't even make the cut. So, there's millions of podcasts out there, dude. It's hard to get recognized. It's very hard to get recognized. So the fact that we can do 250,000 downloads, that's huge. It's huge. But it shows you what happens when you're not throttled. You know what I mean?
Well, it shows you what happens when you're outright honest. Or whatever. A lot of people want to be lied to. I want to hear the truth.
Yeah, I don't
Whether
know
I like it or not. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the goal, right? I mean, that's what we should all want. We should want the truth. But a lot of people don't want that. They want to hear. They want confirmation bias.
It's sad.
Well, it's not.
Here's a quick question off topic,
yeah.
but it goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 10,000 years, do you think the human species has evolved? Not technically. I'm not talking about mechanical or electronics or.
Are you talking about physical?
I'm talking about as a species. Have we evolved?
Sure. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, well,
I don't see it.
Lung capacity. overall.
No, I'm talking about.
oh.
I'm talking about mentally as a species. Have we evolved to become a better species
Over the last 10,000 years?
10,000 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, see, I'm going to say something, but you might say no. But from 10,000 years ago, our overall dialect was, 32 syllables. To now, we're writing and creating in a communicative form that is unsurpassed by any time in history.
What about on a humanity level?
Okay, so has the human soul progressed in the last 10,000 years? Yes. Yeah, because I'm not walking next door to my neighbor's house and killing him for his ribeye steak. That's one example. We're not selling people into slavery anymore. Now, there's parts in the world we have, but there are plenty of countries that don't sell people into indentured servitude and slavery. Now, you might say minimum wage is slavery, but that's a whole other argument. Are we in chains? Do we have our freedom? Can we transfer from border to border? Can we go ahead and fly out of the country if we have the monetary means? Essentially, we're free. And we still are the freest country on the planet. A lot of people are like, oh, the United States isn't free. Yes, it is. You may not like what they're doing. You may not like that Facebook doesn't give you unfettered access to anything you want, but that's the problem. You sign the terms and conditions, and they can do whatever they want as a company. Has the human soul advanced? Have we regressed? Oh, yeah. So when you say, have we advanced over the last 10,000 years, the answer is unequivocally yes. But have we also regressed in some facets? Absolutely, we have.
Yeah. I guess I focus a lot on the negative.
No, I think I think you're a pessimist optimist. See, there's people who focus if the glass is half full, and people who focus on the glass is half empty. And I don't focus on either. I want to know where the glass came from. That's how I think. I don't look at it one of two ways. I look at it always. I want to see it from a three-dimensional view. I want to try to encroach upon the four-dimensional view. I want to try to see things like they've never been seen before. I want to look at a piece of information and analyze it until I find a flaw. And then that flaw ultimately leads to the breakdown of whatever that is. It's a scientific method, but isn't used with numbers and quantum theory or any type of mechanics. It's simply a visual and auditory collection of data, and using my experience and other samples to come up with a hypothetical idea, and then processing it into existence or into extinction. That's the way I think with everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I predicted this with Olivia's job 6 months ago, and I told her everything that was going to happen.
I feel terrible.
Why?
That hurts so much. That hurts as much as a divorce.
It sucks, dude. It sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, hold on.
There's nothing anybody can do, say or do to make it any easier.
No, you just got to let it ride. You
got to go through it.
Yeah, you got to have belief. Yeah, and then Thomas Austin says the glass is full, half with water and half with air. But I guess that your version of full is another person's version of half empty. And honestly, some people could look at that glass and find that it's completely empty because they don't need water, they don't need air, they need something else. Maybe they're an alcoholic and they need whiskey. So that thing's empty for them. My point is that you can look at something, but me, I just want to know what the glass is there. Why is the glass there? What is the glass's purpose? What is its intent? What is it trying to do? Why is that important? Why is the substance in the glass? How did it get there? How does it benefit me? And the same thing with information. If somebody goes, okay, there's 6 missiles that were going to be smuggled over the South New Mexican border, and they're going to take out Trump's plane. Okay, what do I hear there? Well, I can't prove intent, so I don't know if someone's going to try to take out Trump's plane. I don't know what type of missiles they are, so I don't know if it's even feasible. So what I need to do is I need to look at geographically, does it make sense to come over the South New Mexican border, which is one of the most secure borders in the United States. Surprisingly enough, New Mexico, although it has a ton of crime and a ton of illegal immigration, it's still a very secure border and has densely populated because it has federal lands on there with the Native Americans. So that helps in its security. And nobody wants to go through 50 miles of native lands to come in. So my question is, why New Mexico? And that's what I look at. And so I go, okay, let's look. And then I look at a map and I try to find the topographical, geographical ease of traversing through New Mexico. And it's a fucking nightmare. A lot of people don't understand that the New Mexico shares a very mountainous region. You may have heard of it before. It's right next to the Rockies. So there is a lot of massive natural boundaries to traverse from. Okay. And the second thing I think about in that entire story is there any information of surface to air missiles being stolen, being missing, any reports in the last 10 years? And then I got nothing. So now I go, okay, now I've got two things. And then I pick up the phone and then I ask the one question. At any time in the last 6 months, has there been any sighting of weaponry that could take out a passenger liner that has been encroached upon the border and stopped? And the answer I received was absolutely not, with no equivocation. Okay, thanks. So now I got my confirmation that I need. That this story doesn't have enough teeth and it doesn't have enough substance. So ultimately, it's not important to me. But you have to find out what you can disprove in the story. And once you find out that one thing's a lie or one thing's wrong or one thing's inaccurate, then you're going to find out more things are accurate. Because that's the one thing. Nobody just tells one lie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Remember the fertilizer that was missing? Frederick just brought it up. Do you remember that episode that I did on that?
Yes.
That was a good episode. That was one of my favorites. We broke that son of a bitch down.
Has it ever turned up where that went?
No. And it won't. Because it's been disseminated and dispersed to multiple different people, whatever it was. But it was funny when I saw that tracking of all those, where that route of that train station went and how it went up north in Area 51, and people were like, "Oh my God." GPS data is awesome. Okay. I got to go, buddy. I got to show two more things and I got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Give your wife a hug.
I will. I always do. Thanks, Kev.
Real sorry, man. It's a real tough thing to go through.
It's all right. We'll be okay. We're strong. We're resilient. We got a good group behind us. So I appreciate you.
Have a good night, man.
See you, buddy. Bye.
Jared Redmond's birthday.
Jared Redmond, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you to everyone.
Yeah, Olivia says thank you to everybody. Did we get all the donations in?
Yeah,
Did we miss any?
not that I saw. I got a lot of messages, so thank you.
Well, that's awesome. We've got,
A couple of parents reach out to me
well, that's good.
for nanny purposes.
We got, did you get the one from Ashley Gleason?
Yes, I think I did.
Nope, you didn't get that one.
Then it message I just checked.
Hold on, everybody. And then
Oh, I don't get the.
I know, I got to get you added. I got to change my email address.
Yeah, I don't get it. For some, you know what happened? For some reason, my email logged you out, and I stopped getting your emails for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, hold on a second. Don't leave. I want to make sure we got all these. Okay, we got... Okay, I got all your confirm your... Okay. Sorry, I got a ton of different emails here. Okay, so we got
I only got 2 from Venmo that you forwarded me.
yeah. And then someone bought a hoodie.
Yeah.
And Sign of the Times, Melanie. And then Kimberly, did you get Kimberly? Yeah, you got Kimberly's.
Donation?
Yeah.
I didn't see Kimberly.
John Stillwell.
Okay.
did Venmo, and then Kimberly did Venmo for $48.95.
I don't remember seeing hers.
Okay. So I got to forward these. Folks, we're so sorry. We set up Venmo, and we're a little bit behind. And I want to make sure that everyone who contributed gets called out. Okay, there's Kimberly. She's good. And then hold on. Don't leave yet. Let me go to PayPal. And you tell me if we got everybody real quick, and then I'm going to wrap up the show. Thanks, everybody, for being so patient. Olivia is having a hard day and trying to help us and take care of us. Okay, logging in. Okay, here we go. I'm human. Come on. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, Liv. Oh.
I've gotten all the PayPal ones because I have access.
I want to make sure. A lot came through. Holy moly. Gotta love people. View transactions. Okay, we got... Okay, Carrie,
Yes. She was the most recent one.
you got Ed,
Yep.
Debbie.
Yes, but you didn't read her name.
Debbie Hensley. See, you got to tell me.
No.
Oh,
She wanted it Jack me off. Is what she wanted.
Jack Mehoff?
Yes.
I didn't see it. What did I say, Jack?
No, you just ignored it. It was in the middle of the phone call with Kevin. You just completely ignored it. And she's like, oh, I feel horrible.
Debbie, I'm so sorry. And then Kevin and Thomas and Charity. We got everybody.
Say the name, but it was supposed to be.
Buying Olivia a donut and hot chocolate. Wish it could be more. It's enough, Carrie. Thanks for your hard work. Oh, I love all these comments. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We love you. Damani is live. Let's go find out what Damani's doing. What's he live on? It's Thursday night, so he's always live on Thursdays. Is he on Facebook? Let's go see what Damani's doing. I want to spend some time with you guys. I'm fine. I like you guys. Damani Bryant Felder. My man. Is he live? Where is he? Is he on Twitter? Where is he live at, y'all? I don't have him. God, we got a lot on Twitter. It's good to see. I'm looking. I don't see him live. I don't think he's live. Facebook. Okay. I'm going to go see on Facebook, and then if he's not on there, I'm going to call it. Show you one or two more other things, and then we're going to get out of here. All right. There he is live. Yep. I got him.
Work, actually just spend time with my own family, get in my baby
and play with her. But
Hey
guys, I'll be the first to tell you, I would much rather come home from a long day of
I hate this one.
I'll be the first to tell you, I would much rather come home from a long day right now who truly seek for nothing more than its ultimate destruction. And those individuals fall on the left side of the aisle the majority of the time, but there are individuals on the right side of the aisle as well who want us to be involved in foreign wars indefinitely, who wants to continue to plunder the taxpayer, who wants to continue to send money to other countries that we have no business being involved in. And they are the ones who will then turn to you and pretend that they are your saviors, that they know what's best for you. In the here and now, it has never been more apparent just how out of touch the average politician, particularly liberal politician, is to the plight of average, everyday Americans. Now, I will say this as well. I saw a post on social media. It was an individual in Britain, of all places. And this individual had the gumption to say that parents are not qualified to homeschool their children. He had the nerve to post that publicly. And of course, I was one of the individuals out there who took great umbrage at that statement. And I retaliated and retorted to him. This is on X, of course. And I said, you know that you were lying. And the average parent might not be college educated per se, but they know innately what's best for their children. And when they see this continued degeneracy and this cultural rot that their children are being forced to grow up in, they have an obligation to stand up and protect their children against that. But those on the left side of the aisle wholeheartedly endorse the indoctrination of our children under the auspices of social acceptance and social justice and being welcoming. I saw a very, very disturbing video, and it was CNN, of course, interviewing school-age children. I would guess these kids were probably 2nd to 4th graders, so very young children, asking them what their opinions were on politics. This attack, even on the youth, is not going to stop, and they're doing their best to try to plant seeds as early as possible and not even let kids be kids anymore. When I think,
man, it used to be nice when I used to have my lives that large. It blows me away. Folks, do me a favor. After you're done with my show, go over to Damani, give him a like, and say hello. He is a great human being, someone who I really, really enjoy and like to listen to. So if you have not had a chance to listen to Damani Felder, you can find him on his Facebook page. Real simple. Head on over, and you will see a black guy with red, white, and blue. Pretty simple. And you can just type in at Damani Bryant Felder, and you'll find him. He's got some great stuff, and you should watch him. Folks, I want to say thank you for watching the show. I'm going to have an extended show tomorrow to cover some of the things we wanted to talk about tonight. But it was really nice just to kind of chat with Kevin and, answer any of your questions. If anybody's got anything real quick, I'm here for another few minutes. If you got any questions, comments, or anything that I missed that I wasn't able to see, throw it out there. Last but not least, we have hit our goal for the month. A lot of you may or may not have heard that Olivia lost her job today, so she is not on the show. She'll be on tomorrow. Your donations have been incredible. We added Venmo, so if you like the show, you like what we do, head on over to linktapgo.com/thedumshow. It's really simple. Click on that, and there's a big giant donate button, and select how you want to donate. You can use PayPal, Venmo, or you can send to P.O. Box. We accept it all. We would love to have you help out if you can. Remember, take care of yourself first. That's the most important thing. And if you have the opportunity, we would appreciate it. Let's find out where we're at from a... Whoops. What the hell happened to my thing? Sorry, hold on, folks. Gotta get this fixed. What the shiznit? There we go. Matt, my sincere gratitude to you and Olivia working hard to bring the... Oh, I appreciate you guys. No, I thank you very much. It means the world to me. You guys have been awesome. Hurricane. Let's get an update. I want to find out what's going on. Did you guys see that it kind of did what I thought it was going to do? Weather, I think... Let's go see. I just want everyone to be safe. No, it's still saying it's going to hook left. And that's that Fujiwara effect. If Kyung's listening, don't get upset, man. Something's weird. I just want to make sure you're okay. Because, man, you used to come in and just crush it for me. And it just feels like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being sensitive. Maybe it's a tough night for me. So, Kyung, if I pissed you off, I'm sorry. And if you're upset, give me a call. We'll figure it out. I admire you. I think you're a freaking really smart guy. It's just sometimes it feels like we argue for no reason. And there's just really no reason for it. All right. So right now, we're looking at 140 mile an hour, north by northeast at 24. That's moving fast. That thing is moving fast. It's starting to hook.
Where regular brushes miss.
Shut up.
Oral-B Electric hits.
It's starting to hook. And it looks like, yeah, dude, those bands are incredible. So it's going to move and go through Georgia And then it's going to move up through Tennessee area, south of Virginia. We're going to get some bands. Going to come over into Memphis. Big hurricane numbers right here in Tallahassee. God, that eye wall is fucking massive. That thing's got to be at least 500 miles across, huh? Oh, yeah, we're going to get some rain in Virginia for sure. We're going to get splashed by the outer bands. I guarantee it. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. We're going to get crushed. 2 to 3 inches in our area. That's a lot of rain. All right, folks, I want you to hunker down. I want you to be safe. If anybody, I'm playing game at the moment. Why I've been quiet. All right, but I love you, Kyung. I love you. You know that. You're one of my oldest viewers. You're a smart fucking guy. And you seem, I don't know, man. I don't want you going down the rabbit hole too much. And maybe that's just me. When I read your stuff sometimes on the news, you seem to be really rabbit holing down the trail. And I believe you're an intel guy. And if you're an intel guy, stay out of the rabbit holes. Focus on the qualifiers. Don't focus on the drudgeries. You know, the things that take you away from being that sharp, intelligent person with amazing foresight, because you're good at that. But I've just been reading some of your stuff, and it doesn't seem like it's you. You seem angry or pissed. I don't know, dude. You know what we should do? We should just get on a phone call or something, and I can walk you through some of the things. But there's just a few people who think you're sending out some weird stuff. I don't know. Maybe we're all overacting. Definitely windy in Orlando. I cleaned my gutters out tonight because I know we're getting a lot of rain. Ohio will get much needed rain. Oh, yeah. Everybody is. Suzanne says you're more accurate than the weatherman. Yeah, but I'm really shocked to see that thing push left. But it's because of the Fujiwara effect. Once I heard that, it made sense to me that it's going to ride and push up and out, and it's going to basically sucked in. But I think the Midwest is going to get a lot of rain, man. A lot of rain. So we're going to get hit in Virginia. It's a 500-mile wild hurricane. It's just as big as Harvey. I think it's massive. I'm definitely worried about it. All right, everybody, thanks for your help. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. We'll have a recorded show in the morning. And if you have not been over to thedumshow.com, head over there. You can use code DUM10. Cool shirts like the Leave Our Kids Alone shirt. We've got some Trump van shirts over there and some other stuff. Take a look. It's got a really good rating, and we appreciate you. Tommy, rest easy, man. South Carolina has been getting hit all day. Yeah, so that just shows it's going to hit Virginia. So we'll get some rain too, which I'm excited. We need it. I'm going to go spend time with my wife and spend the rest of the night with her, everybody. Thank you for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. God bless, and take care of each other. Oh, I think we have one more box left for Documents of Freedom. We sold 3 last night. So if you've not had a chance, you might want to go pick yours up. It's going to be a month either way. No, if we have one left, we can still ship out by the first of the month. But we will not have another batch in until next month. So if you're thinking about Christmas, you need to let me know, because he's going to get busy. So if you're thinking about Christmas, if you're thinking about giving them the Documents of Freedom, let me know. And we should have another box ready to go here soon. I'm making some things that I think you guys will like. JD or BK, thank you for buying coffee for Amy. That was very nice of you. Happy birthday, Jared Redmond. Happy birthday. Everyone in the path of this hurricane, please stay safe. Do not be stupid. It's too late to leave, so hunker down. Have yourself battery power. Have a place to go. Have water. Give yourself a few gallons of water and stage it in your place you're going to go for tornadoes. We have it underneath our staircase in a very safe spot where we can go in. That's reinforced. You should have a spot to go to. Basement is best. I know you're worried about the basement because of water, so you're going to have to weigh your options, right? Most places down there don't have basements, so you're going to have to go to a first floor underneath the stairwell, reinforced, places like that are stay away from windows. Okay, you know the drill. Not a lot of basements in these areas because of flooding, so you got to 2 plus 2. Know where you're going to be. Have a radio, have some water, have an emergency flashlight or beer, right? Whatever you want, and be real smart, okay? Stay safe. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, Friday night. If you are without power, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll check on you on Saturday or Sunday. Thanks, everybody. God bless. Talk to you tomorrow.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.